Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, Stephen A. Smith is topic of discussion once again. I did a video not too, what was it, yesterday I did a video, maybe day before yesterday I did a video, and it was Rashaad McCants responding to Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith was responding to Allen Iverson about him picking Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant as his top two players that he's ever seen in the league. You know, Kobe's 2, Mike 1. That's what Iverson said. That's his personal opinion. And Stephen A. gave pushback, which is fine if you go give pushback and say, I disagree and this is why. But Stephen A. Smith didn't do that. He came out and was just shot it down and was like, that's not true at all. It's just not true. Right. So like he was saying, this is a statement of fact that LeBron is number 2. He said Kobe is not number 2. It's just not true. All right. So that's totally different from saying my opinion is this and this is why. That's totally different. And I hate when Stephen A. Stretches his neck out and say one thing, and then when someone checks him on it, he tries to pull back and act like, oh no, I meant something else. And, you know, he do that a lot, and he did that this time. But you know, in his response, that it was kind of condescending. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right, so we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna play for you what he said, but that's not the only topic we got for this episode. If you're watching the full episode of this, you get 4 or 5 more topics, good stuff. So stick around all the way to the end. But if you're just watching a clip of this, then you just go see the Stephen A. Smith. Before we even get started, I want to let you know that we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. All right, so hit the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. If you're watching us from Facebook, head over to YouTube and give us a subscription over there. Watch us from YouTube as well. Definitely get in that comment section, man, and let me know what y'all think. But without further ado, let's play what Stephen A. had to say. It's a little bit lengthy, probably like 4 minutes. So I'll probably pause it in the middle and add some commentary to it if I hear anything I wanted to respond to. But I'm gonna play for you. I just want y'all to hear this. This is crazy.
Why would Kobe be in the conversation for you to kill him off so LeBron can live higher than him? Right. It don't make no fucking sense. Let the man rest. Let's keep him wherever everyone has him. If you got him 1, you got him 2, you got him 3. We don't need nobody trying to push him down, push him away so somebody else can be elevated. LeBron gonna be LeBron. Yeah. Mike gonna be Mike.
Stephen A. Smith next.
We've been comparing Kobe, Mike forever. Here comes LeBron. Okay, join the conversation, my nigga, but don't be trying to diminish my man's name.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't that guy.
Couple of things. Rashaad McCants, first order of business, respectfully. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't have a goddamn clue. Period. You don't know. So let me educate you.
What is
Number one, if you're going to quote me accurately. The receipts are there. I have never, nor would I ever, diminish the Black Mamba. That's number one. Number two.
You are diminishing him because he is, it don't make no sense for you to be so high on Michael Jordan and say he can't be touched. He's number 1. No one can touch him. And then see this guy that is the spitting image of him, who had the same mentality as him, had the same work ethic as him, who had the same game on the court as him, offensively and defensively, who Phil Jackson, who coached both of them, said the only difference between them was Mike's hands. there's no reason for you to have such high regard for Mike and the carbon copy of Mike that's just a tad bit below him. You got about 8 guys in front of him. Is a gap between Kobe and Mike. There's 8 or 9 guys wide. That doesn't make sense, right? It really just it don't make sense at all, right? So I mean, I just don't. It really don't make sense for Mike to be that high for you and Kobe to be all the way down there. That's why people is calling cap on you. That's why it don't make sense. So yeah, you are diminishing him because everyone knows that Kobe should be held in high regard just as Mike is, and in higher regard than LeBron James for a lot of different reasons, starting with on the court, starting with the work off the court, and then starting with, you know, how they operated, you know, what their mentality was as far as what they concentrated on, what, you know, what bag or what batch they put all their eggs in. You know, Kobe put all his eggs in the work batch and in the winning batch, and LeBron put most of his eggs in the stats batch. And instead of doing the hard work, let me figure out which players I can play with to make the goal of winning easier. You get what I'm saying? Like it's just the story of the 3 little pigs. Somebody built the house and the foundation of brick and the house of brick, and somebody used straw. And hard work and winning is the brick, and stats and let me team up is the straw. And when the big bad wolf like me come by and I'm not fooled by, oh man, that's a straw house. It looked like it's all put together, but that's straw. We go blow it down really easily. You can blow stats down and blow all that fluff of, oh man, I got 4 rings, but look how you got the 4 rings. You get what I'm saying? Like Tupac said when he said, hey man, I made a G today. Yeah, but you made it in the sleazy way. He got 4 rings, but look how he got it. Team hopping, all this maneuvering and hand picking teammates and trading teammates, and you did all this to win. Where people like Michael Jordan and Kobe, in order for them to win, they said, let me go back to work and get better because the help ain't coming. Let me make myself better.
I didn't have the energy when he was here. Kobe was a friend of mine. I told Kobe to his face when he was alive, because I've been calling LeBron number 2 to Michael Jordan before Kobe passed away, God rest his soul. That is a fact. It is something that we debated about. When Shaquille O'Neal comes on the show a little bit later on today, he'll confirm that for you. Just ask him, because he likes you too. Now, I'm not sitting there coming at you derogatorily as if I got a beef with you. I got a problem with you. I don't know you that well, but I got mad respect for you. You were a college basketball player in North Carolina. You won a national championship. Okay, in 2005, I saw you against Michigan State. I saw you against Illinois. I saw you against Villanova. I know who you are and what the hell you can do. Mad respect to you, and I know you know the game. But evidently, you need lessons on how to quote people accurately and not to come across as somebody who's personalizing some kind of comments just because you don't like them. I'm not here to agree with you, just like you wasn't on Gilbert Arenas' podcast to agree with me. You entitled to your damn opinion. I'm entitled to my damn opinion. But the
issue is, it wasn't your opinion, Stephen A. Smith. You said it's just not true. Kobe's not number 2. It's not true. That's not an opinion.
The problem? Why is it that it's hating just because I don't have him as number 2 all time? I think Kobe Bryant is the second greatest 2 guard in the history of basketball behind Michael Jordan. You can debate whether or not he's the greatest Laker of all time. I would happen to say he's number 2 to Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard to have ever lived. He's a quintessential point guard who galvanized the troops around him and went to 9 NBA finals in a decade and won 5 titles.
So here's the contradiction. Here's the inconsistency. Here's the cap. So, as a matter of fact, you heard what he just said about Magic. All right, I'm gonna let him keep going.
That's my opinion. There are plenty of people who would disagree with that, but they wouldn't label it as demeaning this man and literally bringing up his death to point out as if I'm tainting his legacy and tainting his soul, which I would never do. He was a friend of mine.
It is kind of tainting him, knowing what he stood for and knowing the work that man put in, and knowing that all he wanted to do was win. And for you to, and as much as he wanted to be the greatest player that ever lived, he admitted that Mike, he just couldn't pass Mike, right? But as far as getting as close as Mike, he's the closest thing to it. We all admit that. So for us to know that he's the closest thing we've seen to the GOAT, and he plays just like him and acts like him and everything like him, right? Man, it's almost scary how similar they are. For us to know that and know how much he put into it to get to that part, and for you to come and say a stat pattern and a team hopper, we go put him over him, and then you put 9 other dudes, because people drop Kobe all the way to the top, all the way to the 10th. They got all types of people in front of him: Bird, Magic, Oscar, LeBron, Shaq, Hakeem. They got so many people in front of LeBron. The media do, right? Because the media, for some reason, likes what LeBron does with the stats, and players like what Kobe does on the court, and the fact that he wanted to win and he wanted to take your heart out your chest. Right, listen to how Kobe talked. I'm gonna keep it paused where Stephen A is, but listen to Kobe.
Hopefully, my Laker legacy will be that of a champion. I mean, that's why we play. That is the most important thing. It's number one. It's not about how much you like the person. It's not about how many points that person scored. It's not about how many assists that person had. It's how many championships did they bring to the city of Los Angeles. That is the most important
rings.
Thing. Truthfully, it's really about winning. It's not about being coddled. It's not about being catered to. You have a responsibility to the city of Los Angeles to bring championship banners back where they belong. That is your responsibility. You have to understand that nothing else matters. Second place does not matter. Second place means you're the first loser. You have that mentality here. That's what gets you there. This franchise does not hang division banners. It does not hang conference championships. We hang one banner and one banner only, and that's NBA titles. Right? So you have to start there. You have to understand that that's what this is. And you may not like it. You may think it sucks. You may think it's not great sportsmanship. Get over it. It is what it is. It's a city of champions for a reason.
That man said it ain't about stats, assists, and it ain't about being coddled. We know who he was talking about. And he's not a stat guy. Look, I could care less. Kobe go out there and lock you up. This is the man who said, I'm tired of y'all losing USA basketball. I'm going to come out there. And he told Coach K, we got a lot of stars out here. Don't worry about me. Put me on the best offensive player every game. I'm locking them up. I'm not even trying to score. He just wanted to win. He said, I'm tired of y'all losing. Let me come help y'all. That was LeBron getting bronze medals at the Olympics and at the preliminaries, coming home with bronze. Couldn't get past Spain and Argentina. Now they was getting whooped. LeBron came out. Kobe came out and made it look simple. And he started it with, like, LeBron. If you watch the documentary on that, LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh, and Carmelo all talked about how, like, they was getting up, being just lollygagging, and then they find out Kobe, was up 3 a.m. already in the gym, soaking wet in sweat. So they don't know what time he got in there. It started from there. That's when they learn how to work. That's when they learn how to work, all of them. Right. So before that, and Coach K admitted, man, this is the best player in the world right here. Everybody knew that. And they got gold. But my point is, He just want to win. If I gotta lock people up and play defense, I do that. Remember, this is a dude that came out of high school who was on the court, and as a 18-year-old, he's coming out and he's on a playoff ready-made team with Shaq on it and Eddie Johnson and Van Exel. So he didn't get an opportunity to come in like McGrady and play for the Raptors and be able to kind of learn slowly. He didn't get a chance to come in like LeBron and have a team that they just go fire the coach, bring in a new coach just for you. You in your hometown. Ricky Davis is there, but once they found out Ricky Davis and you wasn't really getting along, he got traded. Carlos Boozer was there. He got traded. Everybody that didn't, that LeBron didn't mesh with was gone. Darius Miles, all of them was gone. We go clean slate. LeBron is all you. Play how you want to play. Right? He didn't have that. Kobe came in as an 18-year-old and was like, look, I got to play behind all stars. And I got to figure out how to fit in. So when you at that point, you're like, all right, defense really matter because number one, Dale Harris, this coach, don't want to put me in the game. I really got to play defense. So he didn't get coddled to. The media didn't make him a darling. And he wasn't chasing stats. He was chasing winning. That's how bad he wanted to win, and he wanted to be the best. So those are the main things. That's the main thing he worked on was his game individually, and his drive was always there. And he worked on trying to win, doing whatever it takes to win. And the most thing that LeBron seemed like he worked on is whatever he did to his body, lifting weights. He wasn't working on his game, because for you to be in year 21 and still can't shoot free throws is beyond me. So you wasn't working on your game. So he was working on his body and what teammates he could get or what coach he could get. Who can I handpick to help me make it easy? So instead of me saying, let me make my game so good that I can win with just a Paul Gasol and a Lamar Odom, instead of having to need the best of the best. And then when they don't work, let me trade them in. Or when that coach don't work, let me get him fired. It's just ridiculous.
I covered them for years. We knew each other on a personal level. We spoke on a personal level, which ain't really anybody's business, but those who know. But even when he was alive, I said, I got MJ as number one, LeBron as number two. Now, where would I come up with that? I would come up with that because he was playing with Shaq when Shaq was in his prime as the most dominant force in the game and arguably our lifetime outside of Wilt Chamberlain in some people's eyes, even including Wilt Chamberlain in some people's eyes, even though Wilt Chamberlain once averaged 50 and 25 in a season.
So his first reasoning for downgrading Kobe, he didn't say anything about what his game was lacking. And that's the problem with the media and the people who follow the media, and then the stat nerds and the analytic nerds and the football players. They can't speak intelligently to what the player has in their repertoire and what they're lacking. That's how you grade players. And that's how you come up with who the best is. And who the best is matters when it comes to who the GOAT is and who's number two behind the GOAT and number three behind the GOAT. I couldn't have a player above a player that's better than them. Like Kobe is better than LeBron James. He's a better player. He's lacking less than what LeBron is lacking, and he has more than what LeBron has. I didn't say he padded his stat more. I said he has more. He has more in his repertoire than LeBron has. LeBron is a straight line to the rim. It's almost like a running back that hits the hole and he just runs a straight line, versus a running back that can go outside, he can catch, he can block, he can run up the middle, he can run off tackle, all of that stuff, right? Versus a running back, I just run a straight line. I bowl you over. That's what LeBron did. I run full speed to the rim, and I get a layup or a dunk after I bump you and all that stuff. But if I can't get to the rim, I just step back and do a step back three. That's his game. That's his game. Run full speed to the rim. So, yeah, Kobe is a better basketball player than LeBron. He's a better scorer. He's a better defender. That's the whole game. Right? So, for him to say, I'm looking at that you played with Shaq for your first 3 rings. Remember earlier in the clip, he said that I'm looking at Magic when I'm talking about the GOAT, and you might not even be the greatest Laker is Magic because he got 5 rings and went to 9 titles. Well, Kobe got 5 rings and went to 7. Right? So you're going to downgrade Kobe because he played with Shaq, but you're not going to downgrade Magic because he played with Kareem. It's almost the same exact scenario. Magic's younger than Kareem. Kobe's younger than Shaq. They both came in as rookies. Kareem was already there. Shaq was already there. Or I think Shaq and Kobe got there at the same time, I think. Yeah. Then they got there at the same time, the same year. Right? They drafted Kobe and then signed Shaq to a deal from Orlando as a free agent. So, yeah, so already established big men, both of them dominant, both of them en route to the Hall of Fame, and then you got these young bucks. So what's the difference between Magic and Kobe in that scenario? Magic got 5 rings with Cap or Kareem, and Kobe got 3 rings with Shaq. And what Kobe did was even more impressive because he got 3 with Shaq. Magic got all 5 with Kareem. Kobe got 3 with Shaq and then said, I want Shaq to leave. I want to separate from Shaq so I can prove to the world that I could win on my own. And then he went to 3 more finals with just Paul Gasol, who's not a top 75 player. Like, as far as anybody in the GOAT conversation, right? Or anybody in the top 5 that you want to think of. If you want to say Michael, Kareem, Kobe, Magic, Bird, LeBron, right? Those 6 guys, right? Magic is a top 75. Kareem is a top 75. So Magic played with a top 75. Kareem played with a top 75. So those 2 are gone. Jordan played with Pippen, who's a top 75. LeBron played with Wade, who's a top 75. Bird played with McHale, top 75. Kobe's the only one that won his rings without a top 75 who are in the top 5 conversation. He's the only one who won, and he won 2 and went to 3 without a top 75 player. And the one that he lost to a team in Boston who had 3 top 75 players. A super team. Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. A super team he lost to. And then he came back and beat that super team 2 years later. The opposite for LeBron, because LeBron has played with top 75. As a matter of fact, I don't know if Bosh made top 75, but if he did, that's 2. But he definitely played with Wade, who's a top 75, right? Got a ring, got 2 rings with him, but he lost 2. So Kobe beat a super team. LeBron played on a super team and lost to Dirk, who didn't have a super team. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny how he downgraded Kobe for the same scenario that Magic was in, but didn't downgrade Magic or Kareem, who were both in that same scenario. And then when you look at the circumstances, he separated himself from his top 75 player that he claimed your first 3 came with him. What would have happened? What have they done if Kobe played with Shaq the whole time and got all 5 with Shaq? Like Magic got all 5 with Kareem. He said, I don't want to be in that conversation where they're telling me I couldn't win without Shaq. I never played without Shaq. So he said, I want to be separated from Shaq. I ain't never seen nobody that said, get this great player away from me while he in this prime. Get away from me. Let me figure it out on my own. And he did. LeBron is not doing that. LeBron is saying, give me all the talent. And you're impressed by that, Stephen A?
But those were my feelings. I pointed that out. I pointed out how the Lakers ultimately disbanded because of the friction that existed between him and Shaq.
That ain't got nothing to do with how good he is.
Ultimately became a scoring champion and a league MVP, and in the process of doing so went back to 3 straight NBA finals with Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum and deserved mad credit for that. But I pointed out the blowout loss in the finals to KG. And
the blowout loss in the finals to a super team. But you're not going to talk about the blowout loss that LeBron had while playing on a super team. And it happened twice, Dallas and San Antonio. So LeBron's on a super team, got blowed out twice. I think the San Antonio was the largest margin of victory in the finals in history until he got blowed out again against Golden State, which I think that was ended up being the largest. He broke his own record, largest margin of victory. So he's getting blowed out. Now, at least when he played against Kevin Durant and Steph, that was a stacked squad, but Kyrie Irving is not no slouch, and he's just as good as Steph. LeBron's supposed to be better than Kevin Durant, and Kevin Love and Klay Thompson, are they kind of on the same level? Maybe as number 3s. So you got, it was really even. It was Steph and Kyrie even, KD and LeBron even, Klay and Love even. Then they got Iguodala on coming off the bench, J.R. Smith. Yeah, maybe even. Right? Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, even. The squads was even. It wasn't uneven. The only thing that made that squad look uneven is the fact that Kevin Durant was playing out of his freaking mind. And Kevin Durant was better than LeBron, right? Media won't admit that. So that's what made it look uneven, number one. Number two, what made it look uneven is the fact that Golden State Warriors played such a sophisticated offense. And you know, that offense just clicked on all cylinders. Another thing that Kobe broke down on his attention to detail and his with his media company he had. Y'all got to look that up. It's called the Golden Democracy, which will be Golden State versus the Kingdom. He called LeBron and Kyrie the 2 king system, where everything ran through both of those guys, and the Golden Democracy was a shared responsibility of equal opportunity where everybody making plays. And he was explaining why this offense is always going to be superior to this offense, and how this offense is you have to play perfect basketball to win. And this one, you know, you got a little bit more margin of error because it's not a single point of failure, right? So even Kobe broke that down, but that's why that looked lopsided, because these boys played 5-man out, high screen and roll offense through LeBron and Kyrie, and that's it. And these boys played just a motion offense. You got backdoor screens, you got Steph running off screens, you got Klay running off screens, catch and shoots, you got post up, you had so much stuff with that offense. That's what made it look lopsided. But yeah, he's talking about all this stuff while he's bringing Kobe down, that applies to other people that's even worse. It's nonsense. You're trying to explain why you're bringing Kobe down, and this applies to Magic, Kareem, and LeBron double time. Why are you not doing the same thing for them?
Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Rondo in the finals. We're talking basketball. That's it. You know it better than me. You played on an elite level collegiately. You played in the NBA for 4 to 5 years. We can't talk basketball without you going on a podcast, going the hell off like somebody insulted your mama or your brother or your friend or somebody. Maybe that's what Kobe was to you. I'm not aware of that. Don't know. Not even questioning it. What I'm simply saying is we're talking basketball. That's it, bro. That's it. What's all of that for? What's all of that for? Because you have a difference of opinion, all of a sudden I'm besmirching his name and his reputation?
Yeah.
I know you didn't use the word besmirch. I'm using it. That's what we're doing here? We can't talk basketball? This is the problem.
Yeah. You are besmirching him. Yeah, you are throwing dirt on his name. Yeah, you are diminishing him. Yeah, you are downgrading him. And you're doing it unfairly because you're grading on a sliding scale. You're making him be subjective to a certain critique that doesn't apply across the board. If you're going to use that critique against him and say you played with Shaq for your first 3 rings, therefore I must downgrade you on the list, then you got to downgrade everyone who played with someone that was as good as Shaq. And Kareem is the best center ever. Shaq's not. As a matter of fact, the list of greatest centers ever might go Kareem, Wilt, Hakeem, and then Shaq, and then Bill Russell. I definitely got Hakeem ahead of Shaq. I definitely got Kareem ahead of Shaq. So I know I got 2 ahead of him for sure. Wilt, maybe. I think I put Wilt ahead. Yeah, so I got 3 centers ahead of Shaq. And Magic played with one of them. And he got all 5 of his rings with that guy. So I just don't get it. I just don't get how you downgrade Kobe and not downgrade Magic or Kareem. Take your pick. Which one was the greatest, Magic or Kareem? One of them guys got to have the same critique that you just gave Kobe. One of them do. Kobe or Kareem. One of them got to have the same critique. So that's just my thoughts on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I don't know what to say, man, at this point, man. This Sassy Pants is just Stephen A. Smith, SAS Sass. It's just I don't know. It's just crazy to me, man. And furthermore, before I end this, furthermore, they act like that Kobe just rode Shaq's coattail. Like Kobe, who would it be similar to that played with a great guy? And oh, I forgot. Kareem got one of his rings with Oscar, who's another top 75 guy who's in the top 15 of all time. So Kareem never got a ring without a guy that was top 15. You got Magic and Oscar. Come on, man. But as far as someone who might have rode a coattail, I guess you can say Shaq rode Wade's coattail. Maybe not. I don't know. Wade was young. I know the finals belonged to Wade, but the whole season, I had to go look at that. But who won a ring? Would I say Drexler, the second ring that Hakeem got? Probably not. There's somebody who rode a coattail. Shaq tried to ride the coattail after he was past his prime. He went over to Boston and tried to help them out on their last effort. So if Shaq would have got a ring with Boston, he would have been definitely riding coattail. He wasn't driving that bus at all. So people act like Kobe did that. Nah, that's not what Kobe did. As a matter of fact, throughout the whole playoff run of their championship run, that's how the averages stack up. When you average it all out, 91 games, Kobe's averaging 26. Shaq was averaging 27. Shaq, of course, was getting double-digit rebounds. Kobe was getting, his average 5 or 6 rebounds, but he led the team in assists, and he was a lockdown defender on the perimeter, making first and second team all defenses and stuff like that. He was getting blocks. Kobe was all over the place. He wasn't no slouch. The 2001 final, and remember, his first ring he got, he's still a kid. I think the first ring he got, he was 21. And not to mention, he was a rookie. I told you he was playing behind Van Exel and Eddie Jones and Rick Fox. Dale Harris vowed not to play a rookie, especially a high school player. So it didn't matter what Kobe did, he didn't really want to play Kobe. Right? So he struggled with that still to this day. Before Kobe passed, he said he still struggled with not being able to play and being so pissed off at Dale Harris. Right? So, but this is the crazy thing. His second year as a 19-year-old kid, despite coming off the bench and only starting 1 game that season, he made All-Star. He made All-Star. That is crazy. Kobe made All-Star, despite his coach not even thinking he's good enough to start on his team. Right? He made All-Star as a 19-year-old. And then he had one more year after that, and then Phil came in, and the rest is history. Phil wasn't no dummy. He looked at Kobe and was like, man, this the Mets Michael right here. Phil went over there real quick and took that job. Just a year removed from leaving the Bulls and leaving Pippen and Michael, he gets a new Michael over with the Lakers and go on a three-peat, and the rest is history. But his 2001 playoffs season, there's his numbers. Almost 30 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. That's crazy, right? And then if you add up his assists and his points and you average that out into a percentage, he accounted for more of the offense than what Shaq did. Slightly more, right? So this notion that he rode coattails, it's just not true. That's the part that's not true. I can say that with certainty. It's just not true, Stephen A. Smith. Kobe is better than LeBron James. So there you got it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Speaking of LeBron, the Lakers, they're having some issues right now. Those do we call them the defending in-season tournament? Yeah, we call them the defending champs of the in-season tournament. You know, how you come out and you on fire and you win this in-season tournament, and all of a sudden you can't win games no more. The last 13 games at 3-10, right? So they getting whooped, right? So it's just not looking good. Was the in-season tournament a fluke? I think so. The in-season tournament was cool. A lot of people liked it. You know, it was a lot of things to kind of like about it. This is what I don't like about it. You have a regular schedule, and let's say the first 15 games is a regular schedule. Out of those 15 games, only a select few count as the in-season tournament. So you can play game 1, they'd be like, oh, that's not an in-season tournament, but game 2 is a tournament game. And then game 3 will be a regular game, and then game 5 will be a tournament game. And then game 9 will be a tournament game. I'm like, man, that's weird. Like, they just go on the schedule. It's a regular schedule, and they just go on the schedule and pick random games to count as the tournament game, right? So it's kind of odd that this team won the in-season tournament, which you would think that meant that it meant that they went through some type of gauntlet that tested them and showed that, hey, this is a team that's good. To roll out of it as soon as the in-season tournament was over, all of a sudden you can't win games no more. That sounds like maybe the NBA picked games on their schedule that were favorable for them to count as in-season tournament games, so they would have a good record and they would get in that that playoff bracket, because once you finish those select games on your regular schedule, then it was then it became when to move on in the tournament. And I think the two teams that played in the championship game end up playing one extra game, so they'll have 83 games played this season instead of 82. But that championship game doesn't count, so which is weird. The stats don't count, the win don't count, all that stuff, right? So it's very weird. But yeah, I say all that to say this: the NBA was real strategic. It was almost like they wanted the Lakers to win, and now the true colors are showing that this team wasn't good at all. This team wasn't good at all. So we go get into a whole bunch of conversation about these Lakers and LeBron James and the fact that everyone's saying he need help now. But before I even get started, I want to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy, right? And Underdog Fantasy is our sponsor, and this is the pick'em. What I do, and if you look on the left side, you see all those green boxes. So I won $100 on there. I think I only end up putting in $15. I won 100 or something like that, maybe $20 and won 100. So it was just a small bet. This is the first one I did, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I was like, all right, let me just pick something I think will win. So I picked Jason Tatum. You can choose either higher or lower on what they're offering, and it was offering 4 assists for Jason Tatum's. And I was like, I think, depending on who they was playing that day, I was like, yeah, they was playing Philly, I think he'd get 4 assists. So I picked higher, and he ended up getting 6 assists. So I hit on that. That's why the box is green. Then Kevin Durant, 33 and a half. When you add his points and rebounds, and then if you look at the lower right, he actually went over. I picked over. He got 37 points for points and rebounds. They gave me a freebie, just being nice, of Joe Burrow of 0.5 yards. So obviously he was gonna get a yard that game, which was funny because that's the game he got hurt and left the game. So he really only got 18 yards that game, but I only needed 1 yard. So that could happen, right? You could pick somebody, they could get hurt, and be like, dang, I just missed out. And then 3 extra points made by Justin Tuckers. I picked higher on they was given 2.5. I picked higher. He got 3. So I hit on all 4 of those and was able to more than double my money. So I went away with a win with that. And you could do it different. They got different ways you can do it. If you put the money in and you pick, okay, I want to say that I'm gonna get all 5 right or all 4 right, then it's a certain amount of payout. But you can insure it and say if something happened like that, Joe Burrow got hurt, if I had that insured, then that means if you miss one, you can still win, but it won't be as much if you got all 4 of them right or all 5 of them right. So you can do that, which is what happened on the right side. I did have that one insured, and you see Mikal Bridges, you see in the middle, the red box around there. I missed on that. He was supposed to get a block. He didn't get a block. Right. So I missed on that, but I had it insured. So I still won $100 on that one as well. So check it out. Use the promo code ManDownSports and get in there. If you use our promo code ManDownSports, then what they'll do is whatever you deposit, your first deposit, if you deposit $25, then they go match it and give you $25. So you will have $50 to use to bet. If you deposit 100, which is the max, for the match, if they're going to match your deposit, 100 is the farthest they go for a match. So you can deposit $100 and they'll give you $100. So you end up having 200 in your account to go and play some bets. And like I said, you can do $20, $25 and end up winning $200, $500. And if you pick some of the kind of tougher ones, then you could get up to like $2,000, $3,000, right? I had one bet in. I put $50 down, and if I would have got all of them right, I would have got $4,000, and I missed it because Wembanyama only got 1 block that game. He was supposed to get higher than 3 in blocks and steals, and he had 2 steals, and he didn't have no blocks that game. Couldn't even get me a block, man. So and everybody, I hit on everybody else. Everybody, I picked 5, I hit on 4, and Wembanyama was the only one that let me down. He didn't get that block, man. So I missed out on about $4,000. But anyway, let's get to the Lakers. So LeBron needs help. What else is new? He needs help. The media is doing their bidding for LeBron, and they're talking about it. And they're trying to help the Lakers out, man. Oh, they need to fire Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham is he's doing this, or they trade D'Lo. D'Lo's the problem, or AD's the problem. They don't have Westbrook to blame no more like they did last season. It's just chaotic, man. Ever since LeBron got there, the whole first season he was there, it was turmoil. They was talking about who was getting traded. Lonzo Ball was getting traded. Ingram was getting traded. Then they get traded, and AD showed up, and that thing was crazy because he was sitting out game. Like, it's so much, man. Then Magic was there, and then Magic resigned. That was crazy. I mean, it was just ridiculous what's been going on. And there's always something going on, right? Because whenever the Lakers are not doing well and LeBron's there, we got to find someone to blame, right? And they're running out of coaches and players to blame. They already fired Vogel, right? A couple of years ago, they blame him. He's out of there. Westbrook's out of there. AD's been healthy, and he's playing well. So, I mean, the blame can't go there. They got to blame somebody. It's not going to be LeBron. So Darvin Ham's in the hot seat. And listen to how this is Give It a Ring.
It's getting to that point. Darvin's catching a lot of heat. Darvin, we rock with you. Please do not pull up on us. Man can break Bibles with his bare hands. Will Darvin Ham finish the season as the Lakers head coach?
I'm speaking to LeBron, Richie Paul, Savannah. I don't care which one of y'all at this point do it, but look, just go to the locker room.
Where did that come from?
You put this in Prince's locker. You put this in Cam's locker. You put this in
some trash bag.
In D-Lo. Van. You put this in his locker, right? You don't say shit. When we get it, we know what to do. You fling this shit like this. You put all your shit in here, and you get the fuck out this arena, okay? Because as long as they on this team, that motherfucker with the bald head and the bump gonna keep putting their asses in the game, okay? As long as they on the team, I don't know what he's seeing there. It's like he's trying to relive his career and wish someone put his sorry ass in the game, okay? 3 people played, they scored 4. I'm pretty sure we can go 4. We can do 4.
Oh, I can get 4 by myself.
We can do 4, and Kevin Love can score 10 on me.
Yeah.
The fact that Kevin Love, I didn't even know he was still in the league. He had 10.
Kevin Love, an admirable player.
He had 17 rebounds. Kevin fucking Love.
UCLA Bruin, Gil.
I didn't know he was still playing the game. I thought he retired with UD. The fact that man's still in the league and he gave you 10 and come on, man.
Name the team in the NBA right now who has a all-time great on the team who's not playing well. The team itself is not winning games, and they're blaming the role players. I can think of one. I can think of the Phoenix Suns. They're not firing on all cylinders. Obviously, they got some injuries. There's, they got a big 3 over there. So when you have a big 3, you really go rely on that big 3. But now Bill is back. Now KD is kind of out. They're not making excuses for KD. They might mention that they haven't played all together, but even when they say that, they say, man, it's a big 3 that haven't played all together. You know what they say about Kevin Durant? Hey, man, the same thing happening in Phoenix that happened in Brooklyn. And it's on KD. You picked the team. This is what you wanted. What you gonna do? Would you go run? Like, that's the conversation around Phoenix, with them not operating the way they want to operate and them not winning the way they want to win. They didn't go to Grayson Allen and say you trash and you not score. They didn't go to Bobo. They didn't go to Nurkic. They didn't go to Diop. They didn't go to Eric Gordon. They're not bringing none of their names up. They're not going to look at the stats to see how many they scored. None of that. It's on KD, Booker, Bill. That's who it's on. But with this superstar and this all-time great with LeBron James, it's the opposite. When it doesn't go right, they look exactly in the direction they shouldn't be looking in. And the names I heard was Darvin Ham, Taurean Prince, Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, and D-Lo. They named 5 names. AD and LeBron was not one of them, which is amazing.
But the rest of these dudes, these bandits, half of them stealing money from Jeannie Buss, something's got to give. Klay Thompson in a Los Angeles Laker uniform is special. I don't care what anybody say. You got to deal with LeBron and AD. Klay Thompson going to get some open shots. You got to deal with them brothers. Klay Thompson going to get some open shots. And remember, he don't need much room. And he don't need much space. And he don't need much time because the release is quick. Him playing with those guys, with his shooting prowess, oh, that would be special. There's only one other place.
So that's Stephen A. Smith just lobbying. Oh, man, maybe Klay Thompson can go to the Lakers. until the Lakers make a trade, they're going to be talking about the Lakers almost every day on ESPN. I guarantee you, and probably on Fox because Nick Wright will be probably talking about it with Chris Broussard, and they're going to be talking about which players need to be traded and which players can they bring into the Lakers. They just went through this last year when they brought in Rui from Washington's in the midseason trade, and he helped them out a lot. But where is he at now? I haven't seen him getting heavy minutes. They made a trade for him and they gave him an extension, I think. Where is he at now? So where's this team that we thought was supposed to be really good? Russ ain't the issue no more. What's going on? Who can you blame now? How could Russ be the issue last year? Y'all fixed it. Then y'all come back this year and the issue is still there. And now we got to figure out who it is. How come it's always someone other than LeBron? And that's the reason why it's hard for people to put LeBron over Kobe. That's very hard. I mean, if you really think about it, they just went through this type of drama 2 years ago with Westbrook and Vogel, and then last year again. It's just so weird, man. It was Vogel's fault. They fired him. Then it was Westbrook's fault last year. They got rid of him. This is just ugly. It's toxic. Who wants to play around that? It follows him. It's always we got to make a trade. We got to make a trade. What other superstar have you seen make this many midseason trades when it ain't going right? Why come it never, when it wasn't going right for the Bulls, the last year that Michael Jordan played for the Bulls, 98, when Scottie Pippen decided to get his surgery right before the season on his foot, which meant he was going to miss more than half of the season. And it was just Mike, Rodman, and Kukoc, which really means it was just Mike. And they started out slow. And Mike was like, we got to figure this junk out. He said he had a meeting with Rodman and was like, I need you. You got to lock in for a little while, start partying. Let's get this thing going. Don't get no texts. Don't get thrown out no games. I mean, it's going to be rough. And they turned it around and was winning ball games. Imagine that. Imagine a player saying the answer is in this locker room. It's just something that we got to do better, starting with me, the leader. That's what leaders supposed to do. Not say, all right, it's not going well. I'm perfect. It's not my fault. So that means whatever is around me needs to change because I'm infallible. That's the attitude that LeBron has. I don't need to do nothing. All I need to do is pout, get mad, and force the team to do, make a trade because this ain't working. Right? I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna walk out of off the court. While it's 2 minutes left on the clock, I'm going to the locker room before everybody else do. I'm pissed off. I'm throwing my jersey in the crowd. Like he's doing that again. Pouting and all that stuff. You know, we need to make a change and all this crazy stuff. You know it's coming. So why do we look at that play and just admire that? I don't think that's impressed. That don't impress me at all. So before I end it though, I want to show you how easy it is to stat pad and chase rings the way LeBron has been chasing rings, right? And I just want to show you because once you hear it, you'll be like, nah, that's not cool. That's not impressive at all, right? Take Michael Jordan for example, right? So LeBron was in Cleveland. He was battling. He had Big Z. He had Larry Hughes. He had Boobie Gibson. He had Mo Williams. You know, he had all those dudes. They had a 66-16 record one year. I think that year is the year they got put out by Orlando and Dwight Howard. And then he had another league best record the year after that, and they got put out by Boston. I might have it mixed up. Maybe it was Boston first, then Orlando. But one of those years, I mean, both of those years, we expected them to be in the finals. He was getting MVPs. They had the best record in the league, especially that 66-16 record. It was supposed to be Lakers, Cavs finals, showdown between Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. But Dwight Howard spoiled it and sent LeBron to the crib, and Dwight ended up going to the finals. Got past the Celtics and everything. And the team that put LeBron out and sent him to the crib Kobe Bryant manhandled him, beat him 4-1. Maybe it was a sweep. I think it was 4-1. Easy. Got his first ring without Shaq. Did good work, right? But so from there, he was like, man, I can't get it done here. I need my first ring. The media is on me. The Jordan comparisons is about to stop because, you know, the Kobe comparisons to Jordan had started years before that, and it stopped after the Denver, Colorado incident, and they was looking for a new guy to compare Jordan with. It ended up being LeBron, but since he was failing so much in the playoffs, even people like Stephen A. Smith was like, man, don't compare him to Mike no more, right? So he knew he needed a ring. So what did he do? He formed a super team. Let me get a superstar wing and a superstar big man, Wade and Bosh, come to Miami with me. So now you got 3 superstars on one team because you want to make it easier for yourself to get a ring. Now, what if Michael Jordan would have had that mentality? What if Michael Jordan, his last year with the Bulls, it was the last dance, Jerry Krause said, we not bringing y'all back. I don't want to pay Phil Jackson. I don't want to pay Pippen. They didn't mind Jordan coming back, but they wanted Pippen and Phil out of there. And Mike said, if you don't bring Phil and Pippen back, I'm not coming back. And it was like, well, so be it. They let the GOAT co-star, the GOAT coach, and the GOAT player all walk. And Mike was only 34 and Pippen was only 33. Imagine that. They could have signed Mike, Phil, and Pippen and got them for at least 3 more years. But what if Michael Jordan didn't think like that? What if he didn't think like, man, these are the guys I came in with. These are the guys I won my first ring with. These are the guys I want to ride with until I retire. That's what he thought. Even knowing that Pippen had, his body was failing him and his foot had to get surgery on it, and then his back gave out on him twice in the playoffs, including the finals. In the last game in the finals, his back locked up. He was just a decoy on the court. Mike had to kind of win that game by himself, and he was exhausted, right? Imagine looking over there at Pippen and saying, man, you're done. And knowing that Jerry Krause tried to trade him for T-Mac. You could have got a younger guy to come in and be your Scottie Pippen. He said, no, I'm staying with Pippen, right? Imagine if Michael Jordan would have said, all right, so you're not going to re-sign us? Well, I'm still chasing Bill Russell and Kareem. So I want Kareem's scoring record. So I'm going to keep playing. So I ain't got to play for the Bulls. Let me go do what LeBron did, even though he didn't know LeBron was going to do this. But imagine if he thought like LeBron and said, well, let me go join a team that has a star wing and a star big man. Because ain't that what LeBron did? Wade and Bosh, a big man and a wing. He went and joined them. What if he would have did that? He retired in 98. He sat out a year. Phil retired. Scottie Pippen went to Houston with Charles Barkley. Phil was retired. Mike was retired. So the 99 season, in 98, 99, there's no Phil. There's no Mike in the league. And then 99, 2000, Phil took the job in LA. He's got Kobe and Shaq. He always liked to bring someone in that played for him before that helped teach him the triangle offense. So he signed Ron Harper over there in LA. He signed John Sally as well. What if Michael Jordan would have called Phil and was like, hey, I want 3 more rings, or I want to get some more rings. I'm still young. I'm only 35 at this moment. And he comes out of retirement and he joins Phil in LA. Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Robert Horry, and Shaq. They three-peated, right? Without Michael Jordan, they three-peated. Phil Jackson, first year there, they won a championship in 99, 2000. Imagine if Michael Jordan wanted to team hop and collect rings like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. And he's saying, oh man, the coach I want to play for with Chicago is now in LA. And I want to crush the record books, right? I want to crush the record books And I want Kareem scoring title. All this. If he was thinking like LeBron, he could have joined LA and got 3 more rings with Phil Jackson, Shaq, and Kobe. And he would have had 3 3-peats under his belt and 9 rings. And then by that time, he would have been 38. And then what if he said, "Man, I'm still not done. I want to shatter the Kareem's record. I'm gonna play again." And he do what LeBron did, because when LeBron left Miami, he looked at Wade and was like, "Okay, Wade knees is going bad, and Miami Heat salary cap, we don't have room to make no moves." And he was like, "I gotta go." So LeBron left Miami, went back to Cleveland, and was like, shoot, there's a young guy over there, and Kyrie Irving, and then make this trade for love or whatnot. Let me get another ring, right? But then after Cleveland, he said, "Let me go to LA and let me grab a big like Anthony Davis, a young, nice power forward, and then let me go get an old Hall of Famer and Dwight Howard to join me in LA and get a ring with them." What if Jordan thought that after he got his 3-peat with the Lakers, and then he looked for a center and a power forward combination? Was there a center and power forward combination like Dwight and AD that Jordan could have played with in 2002, 2003? Yes. The Admiral, David Robinson, and Tim Duncan in San Antonio, who also won the championship that year. Jordan could have jumped over there, got his 10th ring, passed Kareem, made that record crazy, and then retired at 39, maybe 40. Or he could have kept playing, because his last year in with the Wizards was 39, so he could have played one more year. Probably would have got another ring at 39. Shattered Kareem's record, right? That's what Jordan could have done. If Jordan thought like LeBron and he really wanted that record, he could have got that record. I'm gonna play for you what Jordan said when it came to records and stuff like that. I don't think he was on it like that, man.
What impact does your statistical place in the NBA have on you?
Well, that never drove me. The stats only add up when you put forth the effort and you don't worry about it. Good things happen to the people that work hard. If I sit here and play for the stats, I would have never retired in 93. Or I still probably be chasing Wilt Chamberlain's all-time, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all-time scoring lead. That doesn't drive me. Sure, it defines to some extent for people who don't know me on, 20 years from now, would never know who Michael Jordan really is. But based on the stats, he must have been pretty decent. Those are only ways that I look at stats. Other than that, it's all about winning championships and winning. Stats that matter to me is the games that we win and the rings that you collect.
He said the only stats that matter to him is the wins and the rings. He said, if I wanted to catch Kareem, I never would have retired in 93. So that's 2 years that he could have been accumulating stats. Then he retired when he was 34. And then stayed retired for 3 years. So that's 5 years. It's 5 years he left on the table that he could have been playing and collecting stats and rings. And he didn't care about none of that. He said, if you don't concentrate on stats and you play to win, the stats are just going to come. He said, I don't care about the stats though. He never looked at Kareem's record and was like, I got to get that so people can know how good I am. No, Michael Jordan was like, man, everybody can watch me play and know I'm the best. I don't need Kareem's record. I'm not going to play 20 years to try to get his record. He retired after 13 years. In those 13 years, he had one season where he had a broken foot, so that takes it down to 12. And then he had another season, the season he came back out of retirement, which he only played 17 games. So he really only played 12 or 11 and a half seasons. 11 full seasons. He played 11 full seasons, And the record, what he got is what he got. And then he came back and played 1.5 years with the Wizards. So he don't have a lot of years under his belt. Even if you add all those years that he didn't play most of the season, it's only 15 seasons. He was never chasing any stats. It's totally different for LeBron. Even Kobe wasn't chasing stats.
Hopefully my Laker legacy will be that of a champion. I mean, that's why we play. That is the most important thing. It's number one. It's not about how much you like the person. It's not about how many points that person scored. It's not about how many assists that person has. It's how many championships did they bring to the city of Los.
That's it. Kobe sounds exactly like Mike. It's about winning. It's about rings. That's it. And what they did to make sure they can get rings was get in the gym and work hard. What LeBron did to make sure he got rings was make sure he had great players on his team. Totally different mentality. One's impressive, one is not. So when I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the media falling in love with LeBron, saying all this stuff, I'm like, look, man, he got 5 rings. 2 of them came with a super team. He's always stacking the deck. He's always stacking his teams. And when something ain't going right, he's looking for players to trade and coaches to fire. That's not the mentality of someone that you want to be in the GOAT conversation. The GOAT, when things are not going right, he's going to look at himself first, and he's going to get his butt in the gym and try to get better. He's going to try to make his team better, not think about shipping them out and trading them and getting the coach fired. It's a ridiculous mentality, man. And we rewarding this junk and falling in love with it like it's something, and it's not. So I don't know, man. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. I just thought that was kind of interesting to think about if Michael Jordan had LeBron's mentality and he continued to play straight through without any breaks all the way to he was 40 because he had his eyes on Kareem's record and he team hopped to LA. Like, that's a real possibility. He was retired, and if he would have came out of retire, he would have been a free agent. He could have went straight over there with Phil and got on that train with the Lakers and 3-peated with them. They probably would have 4-peated because they went to 4 straight finals. And the last final they played against Detroit, Shaq was out of shape. I don't think with Jordan being there and being the vet that Shaq would have let himself get out of shape like that. With Kobe being a youngster and Shaq being a vet, I don't think Shaq was really letting Kobe check him like that. Right. So that was the main reason why Detroit beat him. Shaq was like 400 pounds and out of shape, and the Wallace brothers was just running him up the floor and putting him in every screen and roll, and it was nothing he can do with it. Right. It was an easy decision for Jerry West to let him go in the summer and choose Kobe over him. Easy decision. Right. So, but imagine if Mike would have been there. They would have had a 4-peat. Forget the 3-peat. They would have had a 4-peat. So he would have got 10 and then left and went to San Antonio. Because that's what LeBron do. He team hop, to the next best situation. And he would have went to San Antonio with David Robinson and Duncan, and probably got him 1 or 2 more. Jordan really could have done that. He really could have done it if he was thinking about stats, man. So yeah, no, I'm not impressed with LeBron James's breaking Kareem's record, and I'm not even really impressed with the rings he got, just based on how he got them. I'm really not. I'm impressed by the ring he got with the Cavaliers that won. The bubble ring on him, count that, and then the rings he got with the super team. He earned it. They played good basketball. So I'm not gonna hate on those. Three rings I really respect that LeBron got, but 2, you do got to acknowledge that 2 of them came with the super team. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I catch y'all with this next topic. Shaquille O'Neal. So earlier I talked about Stephen A. Smith clapping back at Rashaad McCants. But later on in that show, he invited Shaquille O'Neal on, and Shaquille O'Neal came to talk to him. And Shaquille O'Neal let him know what he think about it. And, you know, he didn't appreciate, you know, some of the things he said and how he kind of shunned Kobe out of the conversation, man. So he had his own thoughts about it. And I'm gonna play for you what he said. But before I get to that, man, this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. So like I said, Shaq came in. You know, he's talking to Stephen A. Smith, and they brought up the conversation that he had with Rashaad McCants about Kobe Bryant not being number 2, the way Iverson said he was number 2, and the way Rashaad McCants was like, look, dude, we all think Kobe is that high. Like, it's a lot of people that think that, right? But here's what Shaq had to say about it.
To belittle that person or, you know, talk about that person, because we as people, we gonna stand on what we stand on. But I have a problem with you know what you said. Like, my thing is, doesn't matter who the GOAT is, my guy should be in the conversation.
Yes.
Don't just no, but hold on. So what Rashaad was saying is, like, you guys just throw him out of the conversation. Like, you know, sometimes you have to listen to what people are saying. Like right now, and listen, you know, I love all those guys, and I'm actually jealous that my name is not in the conversation more, but that's neither here nor there. So somehow it just went from Mike to LeBron, and you just threw my guy out of the conversation. His name needs to be in there all the time. Mm-hmm. And when his name is not in there, that's when people have a problem.
I appreciate the correction, but let me ask you this question. As you sit there as a basketball analyst doing a great job that you do on TNT, you know, several nights a week during the NBA season, I've seen you on many occasions question certain things, and you're just talking about the game, and guys personalize it, and you talking about basketball. You didn't insult them. You just talked about what they needed to do, how somebody else may have done it better, particularly in moments, because you ain't just looking at stats. You looked at moments. Knowing you the way that I have over these decades, you didn't just pay attention to numbers. You were talking about who showed up when it was time to show up too. All of those things come into consideration. I look at Kobe. There is nothing on earth to question the greatness of Kobe Bryant, who to me is one of the greatest of all time. But it did help for those first 3 rings that he had you in your prime to some degree.
Like I said earlier, you can't use that criteria to downgrade Kobe down the list because he had Shaq for his first 3 rings, and then in the same sentence uplift Magic for having 5 rings and getting all 5 of them with Kareem.
That's not the point. The point everybody is making is don't leave him out the conversation.
I'm not leaving him out the conversation.
You are. You always say, you always say GOAT. The GOAT is LeBron or Mike.
No, I never said it's LeBron. It's always Mike. Okay. It's always Mike for me.
Well,
I say him. Number 2 is LeBron.
You're right. Okay. You're right. But I always hear Mike and LeBron, and I used to hear Mike and Kobe, and now
that's interesting. We did hear Mike and Kobe. Right. So when Kobe first started balling out of control, like he was, I mean, I still remember the TNT crew was fresh, and they was just in awe of Kobe. Everybody was, especially before Denver. Everybody was in awe of him, and the Jordan comparisons was there because he looked and did everything like MJ. So the comparisons was naturally there. Now they did say, but he is playing behind Shaq, and that's why he was real eager to get away from Shaq so he can prove everybody. But right when he got rid of Shaq, the Denver, Colorado thing happened, and the NBA kind of separated themselves from him a little bit, and you know he had to kind of earn his way back into the good graces of the NBA, and he did. and then he got more help for his team, and then he won 2 more rings. But by that time, LeBron was in the league, and Wade was in the league, and it was a whole new slew of young guys, Carmelo, and they wasn't really having that conversation of Kobe and the GOAT conversation. They was already thinking about LeBron at that moment, even though Kobe was still the best in the league. Now, my point is this: if Kobe Bryant, as far as how he played, had you comparing him to Michael Jordan, how does that turn into, okay, now we got LeBron? And what Rashaad McCants was saying was like, we get it. Kobe was getting compared to Mike, but at some point everybody realized Kobe wouldn't never go past Mike. All right, so okay, you're there. And then here comes LeBron, a new guy. And instead of them saying, oh, it's 3 guys right there clustered up together, instead of them doing that, they said, no, we got a new guy in LeBron. Let's take Kobe and drop him all the way down. So in order for you to compare him to Mike, that means you had to bring him past Kareem, Magic, Bird, Oscar, and compare him to the guy at the tippy top. So if you brought him past all of those guys and compared him to Mike, then when LeBron showed up, how did Kobe drop under all the guys that he passed to start getting the comparisons? And the answer is, it's all for LeBron. The only reason why he's dropped that way is for LeBron. It's crowded up there. You can't compare 2 guys to him, because now you got to figure out which guy is supposed to, the guys that's battling for number 2, Kobe and LeBron. You got to figure that out. And they don't want to figure that out. They'd rather just say, nah, Kobe's not it. It's LeBron. That he's the choice.
Mike and LeBron. My thing is, it has to be those 3 guys. And if you want to get technical, Dr. J need to be in there too.
No.
Because he started all this.
No.
Ain't no.
No, it is no. I love Dr. J, but it's no.
Hey. Dr. J started all this.
Okay. He started, but that don't make him the GOAT, though.
And Magic.
Yes, so I had Magic up in there too. I said, but that don't make him the GOAT. I got Magic as the greatest point guard of all time.
Listen, it doesn't matter who you or I think the GOAT is.
Okay.
Certain people can be in a conversation, certain people can't.
Okay.
And I just think before y'all say 1 and 2, you can't leave my guy out. So I can kind of understand why Rashaad was getting upset, especially with Kobe not being here. It just makes it like, and like I kind of heard what his point was, like, you just trying to throw him away. And, we would never do that. And I know you would never do that. I know you and Kobe had a great relationship. But his name needs to be in that conversation when you talk about the greatest of all time.
But what I had to tell Rashaad earlier was that Kobe and I had that conversation. Because I told Kobe, because Kobe like, what do you mean? I said, Kobe, I got Mike. You know what I'm saying? I got LeBron, who's been around quite a long time and is versatile with 6'9", 260 and all of this.
Yeah, so
I
nothing
said,
about what he can do on the court
Shaq,
yet.
I look at Bill Russell. I said, people used to get on me because I didn't bring up Wilt Chamberlain. Here was my issue with Wilt Chamberlain. Your number 1 nemesis was Bill Russell. He had 11 titles. You had 2. And that was your number 1 nemesis. So I'm not questioning the greatness of Wilt Chamberlain, but how can I put you against a dude that was your nemesis that's got 9 more titles than you? So it's like, it's a basketball conversation, and that's all I'm saying. And that's something you and I talked about. Yeah, you could throw people in the conversation, but you got to make a decision. Remember I told you that? You got to make a decision, and you got to pick one.
You got to make a decision.
I picked
and then as a society, like me and you came into the game arguing, but we always had that respect for each other.
Right.
You wrote an article. I caught myself jumping on you. You jumped back and you told me why you wrote the article, and I was like, okay, watch this. The next time I saw you, okay, big boy, but so we still could respect each other, and so I don't mind people having even heated conversations, so almost going to blows, but as long as the respect is there, I think this world will be a better place. Right now, you got a lot of disrespect and this and that.
I agree.
But again, I don't mind people talking about who their GOAT is, but you definitely got to have my boy in that conversation.
I definitely will. Definitely will. Shaq, I'm going to let you go for now, man. Happy New Year, big boy. Tex Johnson. Shaq,
definitely got to have Kobe in there, man. It doesn't make sense for you to have Michael Jordan in high regard and say that, man, he's such a great player on the floor and you talk about the things that he do on the floor, and then watch Kobe and notice that he do the exact same things on the floor, to the point where Phil Jackson said the only thing that's different from Kobe and Mike is Michael's hands. He said everything else is the same. The mentality, the work ethic, offense, defense, all of that stuff. He said all of it was the same. The difference was Mike had those big mitts. That's what he said. So for Kobe to be that close to Mike, you can't have Mike 1 and untouchable and have Kobe number 10 and have all these guys in front of him, including LeBron. It don't make sense. Kobe and Mike have complete games, and LeBron game is very much incomplete. And then on top of that, his resume is just put together. You know, it's just a fabricated, manufactured, cooked up resume. You get what I'm saying? Is the difference between someone, like, you know, I don't know if you ever worked somewhere where you had to do time cards. Is the difference of someone actually getting out there and doing work, which what Mike and Kobe did. Like, I'm going, you know, the end result is getting the ring, right? So everything in between getting the ring is part of it. Is you got to get in that gym, especially if you're the best player, and you got to work your tail off on your game. Not just work on your body and lift weights and stay in shape, which was what LeBron stays in shape and he lifts and he take care of his body and all of that stuff. But I'm talking about going in there and working on your game. Like, there's no way you should be a bad free throw shooter in year 21 and you play on the wing and shoot as much as you do and shoot as many threes as you do and be a 30% 3-point shooter as bad as you. Like, you bricking them and airballing free throws, and your shot mechanic is just bad, and sometimes it's different when you shoot it. You don't even have a consistency in your jump shot. Elbow way out, leaning to the left. You can't even come straight up on a jump shot. You got to lean to the left. Let me tell you something about right-handers when they shoot. Fadeaways and turnaround jump shots over the left shoulder is easy for us. Because when you're leaning to the left, your right hand is naturally, it helps you line everything up, and you know it's easier to do it way. Going this way, if you're right-handed, going to your right is the hardest, right? So that's when I first started making consistent jump shots, it was turnarounds and fadeaways, and it was just because that natural way it helps you line everything up. But like just come pull it up, you know what I mean? So I can tell by the way LeBron leans left on his jump shot, I can tell why he does that, right? So I say all that to say this dude's still on the elementary level. He hasn't even perfected his jump shot yet, man. Come on, man. This is not the GOAT, fellas. Like, this is not, man. Come on, man. You can't shoot free throws. Even Karl Malone can shoot and shoot free throws. Karl Malone is huge. So don't blame it on your shoulders and your physique. Don't blame it on that. Karl Malone shoots just well. Come on, man. It's not the GOAT. The GOAT can't shoot free throws, really? The GOAT lead the league in all-time turnovers, really? Y'all got to be kidding me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about that. All right, Kevin Durant. This is what I like right here. This is what I like. Kevin Durant was on the Knuckleheads podcast some years ago and having this conversation, man. I just like to see players talk, man, because this is the difference between players and media members. The players, as soon as you ask them who's the GOAT, immediately in their brain, they're thinking about who the best is, who the best player. And they start thinking about technical things. You know, they start thinking about things that a stat guy wouldn't be thinking about, or an analytic nerd wouldn't be thinking about, or a media member. Because media members, as soon as you ask them who the GOAT is, they're thinking about resume, paper resume. The first thing they're going to say, whether it's Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, or Stephen A. Smith, the first thing they're going to say is 27, 7, and 7. 4 rings, 5 rings, 6 rings, 9 scoring titles, this and that, which is cool, right? But if you have the debate and the conversation and the argument just on a resume, guess what? A person who's never watched basketball can Google the stats, and you're telling me that if the Googleable stats and the paper resume was that important to basketball to figure out who the best player is or who the GOAT is, you don't even have to watch nobody play to determine that. You don't even have to like basketball. You can Google it and be like, oh man, look at the stats. That guy's the best. And that's basically what you're doing. That's a disservice for you to mention who's the best. And the only thing you talked about was scoring titles, rings, MVPs, finals MVPs, and points per game and rebounds. And that's all you talked about. You didn't talk about nothing they do on the court, nothing they can do, nothing they can't do, what their strength is, what their weaknesses is. You didn't talk about none of that. So that's why when you hear people who are for LeBron in this conversation, just look at the people who support that. It's going to be a lot of stat nerds like Nick Wright, or a lot of non-basketball players. There might be a football player like Shannon Sharp, or if it is a basketball player, it's going to be one of those guys who didn't rely on skill to get in the NBA like Kendrick Perkins. Right. So those are the main people who support LeBron. Oh, and of course the occasional people that hate Michael Jordan like Bill Laimbeer and Isaiah Thomas. But forget the people that just don't like Jordan. We talking about people that really believe, like Nick Wright. Oh man, I'm an analytic nerd. I'm a stat nerd. I can't shoot a jump shot. I probably ain't got the athletic bone in my body, so I don't know what it takes to get in the gym and work on a reverse pivot in the mid post, or work on a drop step, or work on a turnaround jumper, or shoot 500 jumpers. Right? I don't know what that feels like. I don't know to look at someone's shot mechanics and notice, man, Kobe put in a lot of work to get his shooting form, to be able to let the ball go at the apex, his follow through. It's repeatable. He does it the same way every single time. Like you can't appreciate that because you never got in the gym and worked on that, or you never tried to teach it to someone. Right? You don't know how much work that takes. You don't know how much better that jump shot makes you than the next person, because you've never been in the game where they neutralize you and force you to shoot jump shots and then let you get to the rim. Right? That stuff matters, and that's the stuff they're ignoring. So Nick Wright don't even care about that. You can't even have that conversation with him. He said you can't even be in a conversation if you ain't got more than 3 MVPs. And of course, Shaq and Kobe both only got 1 MVP, but that's because one, they played together, and they the voters neutralized and was like, well, they play together, they can never get the MVP. And then they both got cheated out of one by Steve Nash and whoever else won one. And it's just an anomaly. It's always an exception to a rule. You can make whatever rule you want, but there should be an exception. So if your rule is, man, I can't let you enter the conversation because you ain't got enough MVPs, who's the exception? Because I'm pretty sure it's one that exists. And in my opinion, Shaq and Kobe are exceptions to whatever rule you make. You can't make a rule on awards and be like, well, they played together, so they don't count, and your 3 rings don't count because you played with Shaq, or because Shaq's too good, and then you don't have enough MVPs. Now you can't do that. At some point, you got to look on the court, evaluate the player on what they can and can't do, strengths and weaknesses, and then how they use those strengths and got the ultimate goal. How many times they got the ultimate goal? How they performed in that game when they did it. Right? When you start doing that, man, Kobe grades out very high as Mike does. LeBron don't grade out that high. So what does LeBron got working for him? Paper resume. But anyway, let's let the players talk about it. Here's Kevin Durant.
Who would you say your top 5 is? Mike, and if you can put them in order. Mike, obviously, 1. Kobe, 2. Shaq, 3. Hakeem. I would say Hakeem, 4. And Magic. Ooh.
I can't argue with that. You want to hear mine?
Yeah, I was gonna say Kareem, but I'm like, Hakeem was just as good. Like these dudes really was dominating games on the same level, but one team was winning more. And so we say this guy might have been the greatest, but like these dudes actually doing kind of the same stuff out there, like putting up the same dominant numbers. When Kobe wasn't making the playoffs or going home first round, he was still killing. He was the best player in the world.
Still killing. That's how I look at it.
Like I'm talking about, he going home first round of Phoenix. Yeah. Everybody in the league know that Kobe was the best player in the world.
When I say the best, when I look at these dudes, I'm like, this dude is unguardable.
That's why
anybody on the floor, I think he's the best guy walking on this court right now.
That's one of the main reasons that I feel that Kobe is constantly disrespected in this whole GOAT and everything. No, I'm not saying that y'all did it. I'm just saying period. I feel like I literally had to guard him. Prime, 3P, all the way to whatever you want to say. Like, please, bruh.
It's different.
Bruh, you hear me? Like, please, what are y'all talking about?
It's ridiculous.
My top 5 is MJ, Kobe, easy Kobe.
Easy, number 2 ever.
Exactly.
I don't even want to say number 2. It's like they just up here with
man, bro.
Like, not in greatness, but in terms of skill.
Man, it's MJ, Kobe, Shaq. Then I'm going LeBron. Then I go Kareem.
I like to put these dudes in there when they don't. When they retired though, like that's when like I really want to.
Like I really wouldn't like. I really don't really use Kareem as a measuring stick because he, like he said, he's in the 70s and pre all of that. And
so you hear him. That's Quentin Richardson. That's Darius Miles. That's Kevin Durant. They all saying, and I didn't play for you, Darius Miles, but he gave his 5 as well. He had Kobe at 3. Kevin Durant had him at 2. Quentin Richardson had him at 2. The players think of him in high regard. They all had LeBron in their top 5, but they had him at number 5. All 3 of them had him at number 5. Right? So LeBron is dominant. LeBron is a physically dominant player, but the people who actually work on skills and can identify skills and identify how much work a player has done are usually the players who put that work in too. So the skilled players are going to look to Kobe as the best. So many people. Like, look how many people went to his Mamba Academy. Kawhi, Kyrie, Paul George. I want to say Harden went there. Like, everybody was going to the Mamba Academy to learn from a guy that just retired. I want to know what you know, man, because you was sick. How many people do you think are going to be going to LeBron to learn how to run full speed at the rim? What can LeBron teach somebody? Well, Rondo spoke for LeBron and said, as far as watching film, LeBron was a savant on the court. And if Rondo said that, I believe it. So as far as what he sees and what his vision and stuff like that, he's gifted. So I'm pretty sure he can pass that down. But as far as let's get in the gym and you show me this, nah, he don't got that. He can't get in the gym and show me nothing. Right? And that's not a knock. That's just saying that your gift has more to do with physicality. You're 6'9", 260, and you move very fast, and you jump high and you're strong, right? So yeah, if you're physically dominant like that, you're probably not going to work on your skills that much. That's the difference between someone like Kobe and LeBron James, and if you look at it for big men, that's the difference between Shaq and Hakeem. Shaq was physically gifted and dominant, 7'1", 325 pounds, move fast, jump high, and very strong. If I could do that, if I could get the ball in the low post and you can't stop me from getting to the rim, it's gonna be very hard for me to be motivated during the summer to be on there working on the Hakeem Dream Shake, the up and under, drop steps, sweet baby hooks, turn around, jump shots in the post. Like who would work on that? That's like a linebacker who's designed to put hits on people. Imagine if he was out there all summer long running routes. Like why would a linebacker be running routes? You never go use that. So someone like Shaq, he never go use the Hakeem Shake because he don't need to. He's just huge and big. So they rely on their physical attributes. LeBron relied on his physical attributes. However, it got him by because he's such a gifted person physically. He's just gifted, right? And with those gifts, if he wanted to go in there and work as hard as Jordan and Kobe, LeBron would, without a doubt, be the greatest player we ever seen. But while Kobe is in there shooting 5,000 jump shots in the morning, afternoon, and at night, and then riding his bike 10 miles and then swimming and then running, while he's doing all of that and then getting all his jump shots up and working on everything that he's go do in the game, like he's thinking about everything, shooting over 3 people, shooting over 4 people, you know, doing it. Like he's working out like that. I don't think LeBron work out like that, bro. I think he's just physically gifted, and he's so physically gifted, he could work out mid and still be a top 5, top 10 player like he is. But he's not the greatest that we've ever seen. He's not number 2 either, because Kobe's better than him. So that's how I got it. That's how I look at it, man. Kevin Durant, he said a mouthful with that. And now y'all turn the way in, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. The last topic I wanted to get on was the Golden State Warriors. So Jonathan Kuminga, if you remember, after they got put out by the Lakers in the playoffs, Jonathan Kuminga, I don't know if he spoke through his agent or not, but the report came out. Basically what he said, if y'all not gonna use me this year, trade me, right? And I guess they must have smoothed it over and they talked to him, and you know, they traded Poole, so that, you know, they probably told him, look, man, it's gonna be more minutes for you and all of that stuff, man. And we go into the season, and the season start, and it's more frustration because the minutes that he probably thought he was gonna get, he get them sometime, and sometime he don't. And then sometimes he get the minutes early, and then fourth quarter crunch time, like night before last, can't get off the bench. You know, you go 6 for 7 in the game, you putting people in the rim, you balling, and you playing good defense, and then it's you know, you up 18 and they put you on the bench, and then that 18-point lead disappear against Denver, and y'all lose the game, and you was on the bench for the entire half of the third and the entire fourth quarter. And once that happened, he made the comment again that he made in the summer through his agent. I'm frustrated. And what was his words? He said he's frustrated and he don't trust Steve Kerr anymore about his role. He don't know what his role is. You know, he just sick of it, right? He cut his braids off, came to the game. You know, I thought that was like, oh wow, that's shocking. Like, you know, and Steve Kerr said they had a talk. This is what he said.
Well, to follow up, Kuminga apparently had some thoughts. Any heart-to-hearts between you and him between then and now headed into this matchup, or coaching perspective to give as a response to his apparent thoughts?
We talked, you know, obviously those things are better discussed behind the scenes. Anytime something like that goes public, then it creates you know, a distraction, and I think, you know, it's important for all of our guys, and I talked to our whole team about it. It's like, if you know, you got an issue, I'm here. You know, I am the most accessible coach in the league, probably. My door's always open, and I have players all the time come talk to me, and I encourage it. And it's a difficult situation because every player naturally has his own goals, his own dreams. Everybody wants to flourish. Everybody wants to blossom. And we have a lot of guys who are capable of playing, and I have very difficult decisions to make each and every night. JK is a young player who's growing. He's getting better. That's why he's been in the starting lineup. And you know, he will continue to grow, and this is all part of his growth.
That's just a big word salad. Like, there's just a big bunch of words that don't mean nothing, because you can for the last 3 years you've been continually messing with his minutes, and he's frustrated about it. Like, you know, you can't keep dangling a carrot in his face and be like, all right, your time is your time, which is the same thing what Frank Vogel's doing to Bo Bowl in Phoenix, and that's another topic for another day. That's pissing me off too. But yeah, Kuminga is ready to do his thing, and there's an issue that I'm gonna get into of what's going on with the Warriors, and it's been going on for the last 2 years. But listening to one of their local radio stations, 95.7, The Game, they had a caller call in, and he hit the nail on the head.
Tim in Raleigh, North Carolina. Tim, good morning, Tim.
What's up, guys? Hey, back to what your caller just said. I don't think we needed Draymond. If you guys look at the game, Kuminga was bodying Gordon, going back and forth between Porter and Gordon. Yep. And Porter wasn't doing anything, and he was playing great defense on Gordon as well. So if y'all get a chance, I would love to see, how many points Gordon scored after that 6-minute mark when Kuminga came out. But I feel, fellas, at this point, we can go ahead and put to bed any more complaints or criticism about this young man when he said something about getting screwed over. I'm so proud of him. I'm a father of a 24-year-old son, and I'm glad that this man, speaks up for himself. This is a travesty what's happening. And, Moody can be the quiet soldier and watch Steve Kerr as he ruins his career the same way he's doing with JK. The sad part about it, 16, 4-4, 6 or 7 from the free throw line. The only one that can get a bucket out there. And he's doing this for coach guys that ain't even trying to utilize his talents, not even empowering him to be his best version of himself, playing mind games with him over and over again, and he's still doing this. Imagine the coach that is empowering him and pumping him up and doing the Popovich the way he's doing with Wemby, the way Popovich was with Kawhi. Like, imagine what JK would be. So let's put to bed all of this. Yeah. Has he arrived? Has he this? Has he there? This kid can ball. He's only being hindered by a guy who's talking about agendas, but seemingly has the biggest agenda of all of them with what he's doing with these young players. So this is karma coming back to bite Steve Kerr in the ass for the way they did Poole. And I just think that something ain't right, man. And so honestly, Joe Lacob, I don't know, if they trade Kuminga, it would be one of the most asinine things ever. I for myself, I want him out of here because I want to see this guy be what he could be as a ball player, because this coach has some kind of agenda when it relates to him. He doesn't utilize his strength. I don't know what it is. But guys, when 5 minutes, you guys I don't know why we dancing around it. The reason we could, the guy put Jamal Murray in the bucket and put him out of the game.
Tim. He was playing good against Denver, and he should have been that game in the fourth quarter. So here's the thing, right? And I done talked about this with the Warriors. I've been talking about this for 2 years. They are too late on the transition that they were supposed to make. They're 2 years too late. They were supposed to transition from the old to the new, and it was all set up and in place by Bob Myers. He drafted Poole, he drafted Wiseman, he drafted Moody, and he drafted Kuminga. Those are 4 guys that would have been perfect fit around Steph Curry, with Clay and Draymond as bench players, or Dre and Claymon traded somewhere and you get more access for them, right? That's what they were supposed to do after they won that championship. They knew Dre was cooked. They should have looked at the forecast and looked ahead and said, we got to sign Dre. I know what his agent is going to ask for. He's a Clutch Sports client. I know they're going to be asking for the bag. We can't give it to him, right? He can't outplay the contract that he's asking for at this age and this stage. From what we just seen from you in the playoffs, the Warriors had to bench Draymond against Boston in that finals, or they would have lost. Draymond was a liability. Poole was balling. Clay was not. Steph and Poole were balling. Wiggins was balling. The writing was on the wall. They was afraid to cut the umbilical cord. So they tried to do both. And what they're doing now is stunting the growth of the new guys because they're keeping them coddled too long. They're ready to leave the nest and fly, and the mama bird won't get up from them. Right? So I say they're 2 years past their last dance because their last dance was the year they won that championship. If you look at the Bulls and Michael Jordan, even the GOATs, the GOAT player, the GOAT coach, and the GOAT co-star, even they weren't even old yet. Jordan was 34, Pippen was 33. Phil still had something left in the tank, obviously, because he went and three-peated with the Lakers. So they still had a lot left in the tank with those guys. And the Bulls said, no, we can't afford it. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. We gotta do some change. We gotta make some changes now. We can't keep y'all too long and then pay y'all what y'all asking for, because y'all done three-peated 2 times. I know y'all about to ask for a lot of them because Michael Jordan started hitting them in the head, because Michael Jordan was getting paid peanuts. And to his last 2 years, I think he did a 1-year deal for $36 million, 2 years in a row. But all his other contracts was like $8 million, $10 million. He wasn't getting a lot, right? So Michael Jordan was like, man, I'm about to hit y'all in the head, man. He must have got smart and realized how much money they was making off of them winning all the championships, right? So I guess they feel like, nah, we ain't gonna be able to do this because Mike probably talking to Phil and they probably talking to Pippen, and they all about to ask for the bag. So they let them all go. All of them contract ended at the same time. Peace. Now that's the GOAT crew they let go. So if the Bulls can let them go after a three-peat, the Warriors got to be business savvy enough to know, hey, look, man, the Bulls got their Ring of Honor ceremony coming up this month or maybe next month, which is going to be interesting because Pippen and Jordan both are going to be there with all that beef they got going on. That's going to be interesting, right? But everything's fine. Jordan got his statue. Jordan's coming back for the Ring of Honor. Everything's fine. Just because you did a lot for the franchise don't mean I have to kill my franchise to let you stay here and scrape up and get all this money. I want a competitive team after y'all leave. I don't want to be in the dumps. So yeah, I think the Warriors should have went on and traded Dre and Clay right after the finals, because they realized, all right, we won it. Dre didn't help that much in us winning. Clay didn't help that much, but Wiggins and Poole did. We got to pay them. So what I would have done that summer, I would have extended Poole. Wiggins was already on the extension, I think. I would have extended Poole, and I would have looked for trade partners for Clay and Dre, which would have opened up. It would have been a big cap relief to get rid of that those contracts, depending on what they brought back. And I would have rebuilt around Steph, and it would have been Wiseman. Well, they had already traded Wiseman in the middle of the season, but if they wouldn't have done that trade, they could have rebuilt with Wiseman, Kuminga, Poole, Wiggins, all around Steph, right? And I think they would be in a better situation now than they are right now. So, my other example for that is Shaq and Kobe. You know, Shaq gave them a three-peat. Shaq was out of shape. They lost their last finals, and you got this young buck Kobe in there, and you got to make a decision. You want to be greedy and tell Shaq you're a Laker for life and we can't let you go, and we just gonna let you sit here and be fat and out of shape and be getting in an argument with Kobe every day and possibly run Kobe off when he's the younger, more talented player, more marketable player, is more financial savvy for us to do this. You're gonna be asking for this huge contract. It's better to just cut ties with you, trade you, get some pieces for you, and rebuild around Kobe. Right? They did that. They cut ties from the Diesel, who went and got in shape in Miami and got them another ring. So who knows? He could have got another ring with Kobe if he got in shape. But you got to be able to make those tough business decisions. Does that mean Shaq ain't a Laker? Nope. They go retire his jersey if they haven't already. He's still a Laker. He still got all those relationships. He still loved the purple and gold. So I don't understand why you think if you have to get rid of Draymond, he ain't Shaq. Clay ain't Shaq. You got to get rid of Draymond and Clay is the end of the world. But then you go say you want to win. But the reason Kuminga can't get his minutes and the reason Moody can't get his minutes is because Draymond and Clay want those same minutes. It's not going to work. So yeah, this is their last chance. They still got an opportunity to do it now. Can you trade Clay and Dre right now and salvage your season? Save your season. Can you do it? Do you got the cojones to do it? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. But those are my thoughts on it. That's what I think. Y'all turn the way in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Should they be moving on from Dre and Clay? Or, if not, how do you change this? Or do you get rid of Wiggins? Or do you get rid of Kuminga? Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I catch y'all on the next episode. Underdog Fantasy is our sponsor. We want y'all to go and use the promo code Man Down on Underdog Fantasy. Like I said, if you put in $100, they go match $100. You put in $50, they go match $50. So they'll match whatever your first deposit is up to $100, which is a good deal because you don't have to have a lot of money to place these bets, especially on the pick'ems, man. You can do it with I think $15. I usually do 20, 25. Try to win about 400, right? Successful sometimes I'm not successful, but yeah, I would do it if I was y'all. It's fun. It gives you a opportunity to double your money or triple your money, and like I said, it'll help us out. It'll help the sponsor out. Use the Man Down Sports promo code, and I catch y'all. Peace. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports.